Have you ever looked at something in Star Citizen and thought, wait a second, maybe this is more than it seems? Let me cook on this for a minute. Just hang with me. I know crafting isn't what most people are thinking about just yet, but what if I told you that the core of that system already exists in the game? Right now, today? Not theory, not roadmap, not leaks. A real working loop, hiding in plain sight. And if this is what I think it is, crafting might not just be coming. It's already here, just waiting to evolve. His name is Wiccolo. You know, shady blue Banu guy, hanging out in Stanton, always looking for exotic trinkets and weird salvage. But if you bring him the right junk, he hands you a shiny new rifle. Or with the right resources, even a ship. At first glance, I figured this was just a clever way to work around the economy problems caused by rampant duping and exploits by moving valuable items away from credits, which has gotten so inflated people are buying it on eBay for pennies. Wiccolo forces players to actually play the game instead of buying progress outside of CIG channels. Add some engagement, gameplay data. I thought that was the whole point. But then one of my commenters said something that made me take another look. On the surface, sure, it looks like a fetch quest, but once you peel back the flavor text, what you're actually seeing is the skeleton of a crafting system. Seriously, let's break it down. Wiccolo doesn't reward combat. He doesn't care how you get the stuff. You could loot it, trade with another player, find it in a wreck. All that matters is you deliver the specific items he wants. He's super chill like that. You give him the junk, and he gives you something new. It's primitive, yeah, but it's exactly how most MMOs implement their first pass of the system. Multiple items in, then one item out. That's crafting. And this matters a lot, because for a long time now, Star Citizen's gameplay loop has been almost entirely geared toward combat, whether it's PvE or PvP in space, FPS missions, or bounty hunting. The new ASD facilities are amazing content locked behind the PvP tax, and unfortunately that's where most of the content lives right now. But not everyone wants to be a soldier. Not everyone wants to fight. There's a huge part of the player base that's been waiting for their profession to arrive. Think of the engineers, the traders, the builders, the industrialists, the players who want to create something, not just blow something up. Hell, I want to be an industrial tycoon with a mining company that could rival Andrew Carnegie. Crafting is a key piece of that puzzle. It's how you shift from being a looter to being a maker, from consuming the world to building it yourself. And once that door opens, a whole new layer of gameplay becomes possible and more people join the verse. So seeing the early bones of that system already in the game, even in a crude form, is a signal. A sign that CIG hasn't forgotten about those careers, that something deeper is coming. And it's already starting to take shape right under our noses. But wait, I know you're thinking you can craft in the Drake Vulture. Not really. There's no item input, so the system that grants you a tool or other item isn't fundamentally different than buying something off the vendor. It's just reducing the RMC value on the ship, similar to reducing your credits for an item. Crafting using physicalized items as regents is a different system. Now, what's really important is what's happening under the hood when you craft in a game. That interaction requires real logic. The game has to check that you're holding the right components, deduct them from your inventory, and then generate a reward, all while maintaining replication layer sync, inventory persistence, and backend data calls. That is crafting framework logic. It's not a full system yet. It's missing the interface, the blueprint browser, quality modifiers, timers, durability roles. But the bones are there, and more importantly, it works. It's live, and it's been Wiccolo's secret testbed for a while now. If you thought the only reason CIG changed Wiccolo's rewards from randomized to fixed was to make things easier for players, well, that was part of it. But there's more going on. The real reason might be that they needed a clean way to test item conversion logic, a way to track specific recipes, inputs, and outputs without the chaos of RNG. A system like that is way easier to debug, especially when you're building towards something more advanced. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing randomized stat modifiers or variable item quality pop up in a future patch. Once you have the foundation locked in, that's the next logical step. That's not something you build just for a one-off NPC. This logic will work for the future main quest line too. And honestly, it could work for any NPC going forward if they decide to start rolling out more traditional MMO-style fetch quests. If you've followed Star Citizen's dev cycle for a while, this probably feels familiar. That's because it is. This is how they do it. Tier 0 systems that start simple, almost too simple, and then evolve into major mechanics. Sometimes it takes way longer than anticipated, and we're stuck with that implementation for years, but that's another video. Physical inventory evolved on this same path, though the interface desperately needs that rework they've recently teased. Personal hangars began as generic hangars with a ship inside. Now they're personal sanctuaries that persist. This is their pattern. Wiccolo fits right in. He's a system test disguised as gameplay. And when you frame it like that, the logic is undeniable. Crafting and fetch quests both use the same backend. Turn in item, receive item. The difference is in how you scale it. MMOs just build layers on top. First comes the UI, then recipes, resource rarity, timers, maybe skill levels or professions. It all starts with the same core loop. And that's what we're seeing here. Star Citizen just isn't labeling it as crafting yet. Why? Because if they called it crafting, everyone would expect it to be done right now. And you can just imagine how that would go. Where's the damn UI? Why can't I make armor yet? I want to craft a Idris. It's smarter to soft launch systems, test them in the wild, and let the community lay the game and test the logic without even knowing it. And Wiccolo isn't the only clue. I made a video the other day about how the cargo event might actually be a disguised stress test. If you missed that one, it's linked below. But the point is this. CIG is building live infrastructure in secret. That's the new pattern. No flashy reveals, no weekly shows about it anymore. Just stealth rollout and watch what breaks. And I have to say, the game's never felt more focused. We bitch about everything, and sometimes it's warranted, but I think in this case, we should give a little credit to the leadership of CIG for changing the development formula for the better, because this stuff matters. Conditional logic like this is core to everything coming next. Base building, resource processing, crafting, and eventually player-run economies. Think ahead a little. Imagine crafting terminals at your outpost. Instead of giving your parts to Wiccolo, you're using your own schematics. You slot in rare ore you mined from Pyro. Maybe a broken board salvaged off a Ninetales wreck. The system checks what you have, compares it to the recipe, and spits out a rifle, or a med tool, or some ship component with randomized stats. That's immersion. That's player agency. And it's not far-fetched. We already know they want to make resource types and quality matter. We've seen that with mining variants and refinery job choices. It's just not fully implemented yet. But the infrastructure for it is clearly underway. Wiccolo proves that item-to-item conversion works, that the database calls are live, that the mission logic, replication layer, and reward handlers are functional in the persistent universe. That's not a theory, that's in the game. So the big takeaway here? The system exists. We've just been looking at it through the wrong lens. And with the new dev strategy, no roadmaps, no big promises, they don't have to explain it to us. They just drop it in and wait for us to find it. Boom. Wiccolo is crafting. You just didn't know it yet. So next time you hand over a pile of MacGuffins to a blue alien and he gives you back something shiny, don't think of it as a mission. Think of it as your first weapon forge, the moment the game shifted from loot to create. Because the future of Star Citizen isn't just finding cool stuff, it's building it ourselves. And yo, the next time you catch two players talking in general chat about how crafting isn't coming for years, just smile to yourself. You know what's really going on. If you made it this far, you're already part of the crew. So let's make it official. Subscribe, join the captain's crew, and I'll see you in the verse. Thanks for watching.